He was a fisherman who became one of the most powerful men in the early Christian church. And the Bible tells us almost nothing about how he died. What it does tell us is stranger than most legends. An apostle executed in Jerusalem in the year 44, whose body, according to a 1,000-year-old tradition, was carried by sea to a coast he had never set foot on, guided by nothing anyone can explain. Today, hundreds of thousands of people walk for weeks across mountains and plains to reach the place where that journey supposedly ended. This is the story of St. James, the apostle who traveled after he died. This is sign of contradiction. His name was James, son of Zebedee, a fisherman on the Sea of Galilee, brother of John. The Gospels give him and his brother a nickname, Boanerges, sons of thunder, likely for their temper or their zeal. In one account, the brothers ask Jesus for the seats beside him in glory. In another, they want to call down fire on a village that refused to welcome him. He was one of the inner three, present at the Transfiguration, present in Gethsemane the night before the crucifixion. And then, in the Acts of the Apostles, a single sentence, King Herod Agrippa I had James, the brother of John, put to death with the sword. That is the entirety of the biblical record of his death. No trial described, no final words recorded. It happened around the year 44, roughly a decade after the crucifixion. James holds one distinction no other apostle holds. He is the only one of the 12 whose death is explicitly recorded in the New Testament itself. Every other apostolic martyrdom comes from later tradition, decades or centuries after the fact. His body, the Bible does not say what became of it. Legend picks up where Scripture stops. Taught in Scripture and no contemporary historical record, James had preached in the Iberian Peninsula before returning to Jerusalem to die. After his execution, the legend says, his disciples recovered his body and placed it in a boat. The boat, guided, depending on which version you're told, by angels or simply by the current, crossed the Mediterranean and the Atlantic coast of Iberia, arriving at what is now Padrón in Galicia, northwestern Spain. There is no first-century evidence for any of this. The earliest written traditions connecting James to Spain date from centuries later, and serious historians treat the Iberian mission and the boat voyage as pious legend, not history. We tell you that directly because this channel does not pretend folklore is documentation. What is historical is this. By the early 9th century, a tomb existed in Galicia, and people were prepared to believe it was his. The year, by tradition, was 813. A hermit named Pelagius, praying near a forest in Galicia, reported seeing strange lights, a shimmering, star-like glow over a particular field. He brought word to the local bishop, Theodomar of Iria. Theodomar investigated and found a tomb. He declared it the tomb of the Apostle James. Whatever those lights were, and no natural or supernatural explanation can be verified at this distance of time, the response was immediate and historical. King Alfonso II of Asturias made a pilgrimage to the site and ordered a church built over it. The place took a name from the discovery, Compostela, Field of the Star. Over centuries, Latin wore the name down into something else, Compostela. What began as a local shrine became, within 2 centuries, one of the 3 great pilgrimage destinations of Christendom, alongside Rome and Jerusalem itself. Construction on the cathedral that stands today began in 1075. A 12th century manuscript, the Codex Calixtinus, functioned as the medieval world's first travel guide, describing routes, warning of hazards, praising some towns, and condemning the food and water of others. Pilgrims still walk that road, not by the hundreds, but by the hundreds of thousands, every year, on foot, for weeks, toward a cathedral built on a field where a hermit once saw lights he could not explain. Over 11 centuries, the road to Compostela has accumulated more than pilgrims. It has accumulated stories. Miracle chapels, roadside shrines, local legends of protection and providence attached to towns the route happened to pass through. Some genuinely ancient, some borrowed from other pilgrimage roads entirely, reshaped and relocated by word of mouth over generations. Most of them have nothing directly to do with James himself. They belong to the road, not to the apostle. Folklore that grew up around a path people were already walking for his sake. This channel is not interested in inflating that folklore into evidence. What's actually worth your attention is simpler and better documented. Not the roadside stories, but the two things that are historically anchored: the apostle's death, recorded in Scripture itself, and the tomb whose discovery built a cathedral that has stood for over 900 years. Let's be precise about the layers here, because they are not equally solid. Historical and documented, James existed, was one of the 12, and Acts records his execution around 44 AD, the one apostolic death Scripture itself confirms. Traditional, undocumented, but ancient, his mission to Spain and the boat that carried his body there, no contemporary source supports it. Medieval and consequential, the 9th century discovery of a tomb, whatever those lights actually were, which built a cathedral and launched a pilgrimage that has now run for over 1,000 years. Folklore, borrowed and reshaped, the roadside legends attached to the pilgrimage over the centuries, only one of them is in the Bible. So what actually remains once the layers are separated? An apostle whose death Scripture itself records? The only one it does. A cathedral built on a hermit's unexplained lights, standing for over 900 years. A road that, whatever you believe about a boat with no crew, several 100,000 people still choose to walk every single year. Some for faith, some for grief, some for reasons they couldn't fully explain to you if you asked. The legends may be borrowed, the stones are not. Neither are the footsteps.